What's up, everybody? I'm out here in Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida, as you can see by the big globe behind me, and I'm going to be doing some fat guy ride testing. Let's go have some fun. If you'd like to compare yourself to me, I'm going to pop up a little picture here so you can see. But just so you know, have a frame of reference, I'm 5'9", and earlier this week I weighed in at 321 pounds. So there you go. Hopefully that helps. Let's go have some fun. Okay, I want to cover all 4 attractions over here in the Superhero Island. The attractions over here are going to be the Incredible Hulk coaster. You're going to have Storm Force Accelatron, Dr. Dooms Fearfall, and the Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man. And the first one I want to cover is the Incredible Hulk coaster. And the Incredible Hulk coaster is becoming the iconic ride of Islands of Adventure. It's pretty much the first thing you see when you come into the park, and it's the first thing you hear as well because it screams at you as you walk by. Unfortunately, on this trip, I wasn't able to fit onto this ride, but I have ridden it in the past, and I have to tell you, it is an amazing roller coaster. One of my favorites. Now, we have a test seat here. It's out in front of the coaster that I recommend giving a try before you try to get on this thing, because it is going to be a bit restrictive for somebody that's of a larger size. Now, it has these side-by-side seats here, and they are actually reasonably comfortable for anyone even with a wider base like myself or someone of the plus size persuasion. You're going to sit in one of these cup seats, and you're going to have this overhead restraint that's going to come down. Now, these little sidewalls on the backrest are going to squish you inward a little bit, which is going to contribute to how far the overhead restraints are going to be able to come down on you. You know, as things are squished inward, has to go somewhere. So on this coaster or on this ride seat, it pushes a little forward, a little out, and so that's going to prevent that overhead restraint from coming down a little farther than I guess it could have if you weren't squished in by these sidewalls. Now anyway, it's pretty standard. This is going to come straight down, and you do have these buckles that are going to have to come up and attach to the front of the pull down restraint. Now there is a couple seats that are for larger people that have these 2 buckles on it that will buckle on either side of the center of the overhead restraint, but it's only going to give you another inch or 2, which, I mean, maybe could be the difference. When we went on vacation this year, I tried it. I was about 325 pounds, and I just could not get it. I was probably a good 2-3 inches from being able to buckle it in place. Now, when I said I've ridden it before, when I rode it before, I was just under 300, I think probably about 290, 295 when I rode it, and I didn't have any issues. So somewhere between that 290 and 325 range is going to be the sweet spot. I'm going to say probably closer to 300, just based on my experience from this trip. So I hope that helps. Just be aware and make sure you try this test seat before you go into the Hulk coaster. Now, the next ride you're going to come to in Superhero Island is right outside the exit to the Incredible Hulk coaster to your left. It's going to be Storm Force Accelatron. This is going to be Universal's version of your spinning cup ride, spinning bowl ride. It's pretty standard theme park fare. If you've been on one at your county fair or at another park, you're going to be pretty familiar with the way this one works as well. It's not much different. You're going to have this little bowl, cup, bucket area to sit into, and you have the center disc to hang on to just like any other spinning ride. You're going to have the bench seat that goes around the outside, and there's not going to be a restraint. So if you can squeeze yourself around the middle here, get yourself through this little bitty door, which I think is going to be your biggest issue, then you should be able to ride. Now, the door is quite small, so you're going to have to probably turn sideways to get through, but I was able to get in quite comfortably and sit and have a good time. And again, I was about 325 when I rode, but I think you're probably going to be okay with this, probably up to 375, 400 pounds. It's just going to depend on how willing you are to squish yourself into a comfortable position or an uncomfortable position. After you leave Storm Force Accelatron, as you're going through the park clockwise around, you're going to run into Dr. Dooms Fearfall. Now, Dr. Dooms Fearfall is going to be your drop tower. and you'll see it does have a test seat out front. It's quite a unique seat. There's not really another one like it that I can compare it to. And if you look at it here, it actually looks like, because of all the negative space, that it would be fairly easy to fit into, but it's not. These little sidebars, these red bars here, are going to be in just the right spot to squish someone of a larger size in, where it's not going to be comfortable enough to get this overhead restraint to come down. It's quite a bit more restrictive, I think, than the Hulk coaster seat. Now you're going to sit in this seat, you're going to have this overhead restraint that's going to come down, and there's going to be a buckle right here between your legs that you're going to pull up and have to snap into place before you're going to be able to ride this drop tower. These bars hit right in the spot where, if you're on the hefty side like I am, it's going to squish right into your love handles, kind of force your bulk a little bit forward and prevent this overhead restraint from coming down far enough, in my case anyway, of being able to ride this ride. Now, I have ridden this before. It's been several years ago. It was back when I rode the Hulk coaster a previous time, and I was about 290 pounds, and it was pretty tight then. So I'm going to say I'm right around the cap on that. If you're of an average height, I don't think anything over 300 pounds, you're really going to have a shot at getting into this one. Now, the fourth and final ride attraction we're going to come to as we go clockwise around Superhero Island is going to be the Adventures of Spider-Man. Now, if you've been to the Universal Studios Orlando park that's next door, you're going to notice this ride vehicle looks very familiar. And that is because it is the exact same ride vehicle that's going to be on your Transformers 3D ride. So, if you can fit into that one, you can fit into this one. You're going to have these rows of 4 seats, and they're going to be a little bit bucketed, but not so much so that they're going to be that restrictive. You know, if you're sitting next to someone that you're familiar with and you maybe overlap into their space a little bit, if they love you, they're not going to care all that much. And if you're a little on the big side, then you exceed this bucket area, you're still going to be fine. You have the 1 lap bar to come down, which is very forgiving, very roomy, and then the sidewall is going to come down into place. Now, I don't believe there's really going to be a whole lot of weight restriction or size restriction on this. I think easily up to 375, 400 pounds, you shouldn't have any issues. You get anything over that, I'm not really sure. I could be mistaken, but it seems pretty roomy and pretty forgiving size-wise. You're going to have room to expand out a little bit. Not really going to be a whole lot that's going to constrict you and keep you from fitting on this ride. So that is my take on Superhero Island, guys. Now, I hope it helps, and I hope you're able to fit on everything over here. I've ridden everything at one point or another in my life, and they're all really fun rides, especially the Hulk coaster and the Spider-Man ride. 2 of the best rides I think I've ever been on in any park. So, again, good luck. I hope it helps. Hope you have a blast. Thanks for watching.